Hi, I'm Amanda. Welcome to Yoga Maya. This is a 45-minute to feel alive, maybe a little bit of camel pose towards the end of class. We're going to get started sitting in a comfortable cross-legged position. So if you feel that you might need to sit up on something to sit comfortably, please feel free to sit on as many blankets or blocks as you think would make you feel good and free in your legs. Once you're comfortable, take your arms up for the sky and take a pretty good breath in. Then breathing out, take your right fingertips down to the floor. Crawl your right hand as far to the right as you can until you feel your left sits bone getting light on the floor or until you can't go any further. Once you've gone all the way over there, push into your right hand and ground through your left sits bone a little more. Take a bend down through your right elbow. Circle your left arm down past your face and come up all the way to sit. Switch the cross of your legs and inhale to reach your arms up for the sky. Then exhaling, take your left fingertips down to the floor and crawl your way as far to the left as you can comfortably go. Push down into your left hand and sit down into your right sits bone. Send the breath along your right side and then circle your arm down past your face and come up all the way to sit. Step your feet down onto the floor in front of you and place your hands either pointing towards your toes or a little bit out to the sides. Push down through your feet and look down your front as you lift your hips up. Look at the fronts of your hips and try to draw your tailbone towards the back of your knees as you open through the fronts of your hips a little more. Lower your hips down. And take your right hand to the outside of your left knee, tenting your left fingertips behind you, twist over your left shoulder. Reach your arms up for the sky and take a full breath in. Then breathing out, twist to the right. Set your feet down to the floor in front of you again. Press down into your feet and lift your hips up all the way. Press down and draw your sits bones towards the back of your knees. Tip your pubic bone up and soften your front ribs in. See if you can lift up a little higher, smoothing out any line in the fronts of your pants. Lower your hips down, cross your shins, and come over onto your hands and knees. Start to take a few rounds of cat-cow. As you breathe in, sink your belly, open your chest, and look up at the sky. And then as you breathe out, round your spine, look in and see your navel. Do that 2 more times. Inhale. Exhale. Breathing in. And breathing out. Find something that feels neutral, and then lift your right leg out and back behind you. Bend through your right knee and reach back with your left hand. See if you can bring your hand and your foot to touch behind you, and then start to push your foot up into your hand, turn your chest open, and look at your foot. Very carefully release. Lift your left leg out behind you. Bend through your left knee and reach back with your right hand to catch hold of your foot. Push back and up through your toes and look for your toes behind you. Very carefully release. And as you inhale, sink your belly, open your chest, and look up. And as you exhale, round your spine and look in. Inhale. Exhale. 1 more time. Step your feet back to a plank, aligning your shoulders over your wrists and your heels over the balls of your feet. Draw your tail down towards the backs of your heels and draw your pubic bone gently in and up. Keep your hands and your feet this far apart and make your way back to downward facing dog. Take any pedals or wiggles that feel good here. And when you're ready, settle into some stillness. Good. Stretch your right leg up and back behind you. And then step your right foot all the way through between your hands. Using blocks or with your fingertips on the floor, straighten out through your right knee all the way and fold down over your leg. Start to bend your right knee and lower your left knee down to the floor. Untuck your left toes and settle your hips a little further forward. Draw your right heel and your left knee towards each other, and from that place of strength in your legs, take your hands back behind you and interlace your fingers. Draw your shoulder blades up and together, and then tip your chest up and open for a little Anjaneyasana with clasped hands. Keep pulling your right heel and your left knee in. Engage those left glutes and try to tip your pubic bone up towards your navel. Lift your heart up a little higher, and then sink your hips a little more forward and down. Release your left hand down to the inside of your right foot and lift your right arm up, turn open. Take a bend through your left knee and reach back with your right hand, catching hold of your foot. If your hand and your foot don't come together, bring your left hand up onto a block to give yourself more space. Pull your heel towards your seat any amount and breathe. Very carefully release your foot and step back all the way to downward facing dog. Come all the way out to plank pose and lay down onto your front. Untuck your toes. Move your hands wider than your yoga mat and a little forward, tenting your fingers. Tip your elbows up over your wrists and slowly round up to a wide arm cobra variation. And lay yourself all the way down. Bring your hands back by your ribs and press back to down dog. Draw your legs up out of the floor into your hips and push the floor forward and down with your hands. Lift your left leg up and back behind you and step your left foot all the way through between your hands. Straighten out through your left leg all the way, using blocks or leaving your fingers on the floor, and fold in. Bend through your left knee and slowly lower your right knee down to the floor. Tug your left heel and your right knee towards each other to get some stability, to interlace your fingers the weird way behind your back. Pull your heel and your knee in and tip your pubic bone up, lifting up through your heart into a clasped hand Anjaneyasana variation. Once you're up, keep finding some work in your legs. Dial your hips to face the front and tip your pubic bone up towards your navel. Lift your heart higher and settle your hips more forward. Release your right hand down to the inside of your left foot and lift your left arm up, turning open. Take a bend through your right knee and reach back with your left hand to bring your hand and your foot to touch in the space behind you. Play a little game of bending your elbow some amount and creating a little tension back into your hand with your foot to find a gentle stretch through the front of your leg. Release your foot and step back to downward facing dog. Come forward all the way out to plank pose and lay down onto your belly. Move your hands wide and a little forward. Tent your fingers and tip your elbows up. Lift up for a wide arm cobra. Try to broaden your collarbones and lift your heart up through your arms. Lay yourself all the way down to the floor. Slip your hands back next to your ribs and press back to downward facing dog. Take a nice slow walk of your feet all the way up to your hands. Bend your knees, grab opposite elbows, shake your head no, shake your head yes. Really let your head and neck go, soft jaw. Release the clasp of your elbows, keep your knees soft and slowly round up to stand. Let your head be the very last thing to arrive at the top. As you inhale, circle your arms up for the sky. Exhale, fold in over your legs. As you breathe in, step your right foot to the back of your yoga mat and tip your heart forward. Breathing out, downward facing dog. Inhale forward to a plank. Exhale, lower halfway if you're ready or all the way if you're not. Upward facing or cobra breathing in. Downward facing dog breathing out. Inhale and lift your right leg up and back behind you. Exhale, step your foot all the way through between your hands. As you inhale, tent your fingers and lift your chest up through your arms. Exhale, step forward and fold over your legs. Inhale and reach up for the sky. Exhale and fold down to the mat. Breathe in and step your left foot back, heart tips forward. Exhale to downward facing dog. Inhale to plank. Exhale, chaturanga dandasana, whatever version you take is fine. Up dog, inhaling. And down dog, exhaling. Inhale and lift your left leg. And exhale, step forward. Inhale, tent your fingers and lift your chest. Exhale, step forward and fold. As you breathe in, circle your arms up for the sky. Breathing out, pull a prayer down to your heart and release your arms at your sides. Tadasana. Inhale and reach up for the sky. Exhale, fold down to the mat. Inhale, lean a little bit of weight into your hands to prepare. And then exhale, step to plank or jump to bend elbows or skip it, chaturanga. Up dog as you inhale. And down dog as you exhale. Inhale and lift your right leg up and back behind you. And exhale to step your foot all the way up between your hands. Spin your left heel down and swing your arms up for the sky. Warrior one, inhale. As you breathe out, chaturanga or downward facing dog. Up dog as you inhale. And down dog, breathing out. Inhale and lift your left leg up. And exhale to step your foot forward. Warrior one, spin your right heel down and swing your arms up for the sky. Exhale, chaturanga or downward facing dog. Up dog, inhaling. Down dog, exhaling. Inhale and lift your right leg up and back behind you. And exhale to step your foot all the way up between your hands. Spin your left heel down and swing your arms up, coming up into warrior one again. And sit a little deeper. Draw your arms around and interlace your fingers behind your back. Lift your chest up through your arms and tip your heart a little higher as you sit a little lower. Start to tip your chest forward about 3 inches towards your right leg and pause. Draw your right hip back and your left hip forward. Keep your arms super straight and try to keep your hands close together as you release the clasp of your hands. Lift your shoulder blades up and together and tip a little more forward and down. Release your hands down to the inside of your right foot, spin your left heel up, and set your left knee down to the floor. Untuck your toes and come down onto your forearms on blocks or on mat for lizard pose. Turn your right toes a little to the right and lean your right knee off to the right side. Lift your right arm up and twist open. Take a bend through your left knee and reach back with your right hand to bring your hand and your foot to touch behind you. If this feels too intense and you can't quite reach, it's always okay to straighten out through your left elbow or even bring your left hand up on a block. Very carefully release your foot and take any vinyasa that feels good, which can always be none. Good, and then inhale and lift your left leg up and back, and exhale to step your foot forward. Warrior one, spin your right heel down and swing your arms up to the sky. Sit a little deeper. Draw your arms around and interlace your fingers the weird way behind your back. And then once you catch that clasp, take your tail a little down and draw your pubic bone up. Lift your heart a little higher. Start to tip forward towards your bent leg just about 3 inches and pause. Dial your left hip back and your right hip forward and really squeeze your shoulder blades together. Keep your arms straight and release the clasp of your hands. Tip a little closer to your leg and recommit to lifting your shoulder blades up and together. Release your hands down to the inside of your foot and set your right knee down to the floor, untucking your toes. Come down onto your forearms on blocks or on mat for a little lizard pose. Turn your left toes out a little and lean your left knee out to the left. Lift your left arm up and take a nice twist open. Take a bend through your right knee and reach back with your left hand to see if you can bring your hand and your foot to touch in the space behind you. Press your foot back into your hand, turn your chest open and lean back. Very carefully release your foot and step back through any vinyasa that feels good. Chaturanga or chin stand or handstand or child's pose or down dog. Okay. Inhale and lift your right leg up and back. And exhale to step your foot forward between your hands. As you inhale, spin your left heel down and then cartwheel your arms open into a big T shape for warrior two. As you inhale, tip back and reverse your warrior. As you exhale, tip forward, bring your right hand inside your right foot on a block or on the mat and reach your left arm straight up to the sky. Turn your left hand backwards and push the air behind you away. Keep your left arm straight and slice your left arm back behind you. When you can't get your arm any closer to your body, bend your elbow and see how much of your pants or t-shirt you can grab. If you can get your fingers around your thigh here, go for it. Then feel your left shoulder and see if you can roll your chest open to the sky. If you can't, come up a little higher and see if it's easier. Move your right hand a little bit forward and a little bit to the right, maybe on a block, and stand up onto your right foot for half moon pose. Now, once you catch your balance here, start to bend through your left knee without changing the position of your leg in space, and then see if you can just straighten your left arm and bring your hand and your foot to touch in the space behind you. If you do catch onto your foot, start to push your foot back into your hand and turn your chest open a little more. Very carefully release your foot and reach your left arm forward as you take your left leg back. Take a slow step back. Crawl your hands around to the left. Parallel your feet towards the wide edge of your mat and fold down over your legs. Once you've established some support in your legs, see if you can take your hands up off the floor and interlace your fingers by your seat. Start to squeeze your shoulder blades together and take your pinkies heavy overhead towards the floor. Take a little bend in your elbows to bring your hands closer to your seat again. Pull down with your hands and lengthen your spine forward, coming out to a flat back. And then stand up all the way, keeping your fingers interlaced here. Turn your right toes towards the front of your yoga mat. Bend your right knee. And then straighten your right leg and start to tip forward towards triangle pose, keeping your hands interlaced. Pull on your left hand with your right hand and steer your chest open. And then once you've found a pose you can support, release the clasp and open your arms out into a big T, triangle pose, keeping your chest this open. Reach your left arm forward and breathe in. Chaturanga or down dog or any other vinyasa as you breathe out. Inhale and lift your left leg high. And exhale to step your foot forward. Warrior 2, spin your heel down and cartwheel your arms open, standing up into strong legs. As you inhale, tip back and reverse your warrior. And then as you exhale, tip forward, extended side angle, bringing your left fingertips to the inside of your left foot on a blocker on the mat, and turn your right arm up to the sky. Turn your right hand backwards, push the air behind you away, and keep your arms straight as you slice your arm back behind you. Bend your elbow and take your fingers either onto your t-shirt, onto your leggings, or onto your thigh. Whatever you've got, try to turn your chest up and open, and then maintain that open chest as you take your left hand forward and a little to the left. Stand up onto your left foot. Ardha Baddha, Ardha Chandrasana. Once you catch your balance here in your half moon, start to bend through your right knee without moving it in space. And then start to straighten through your right elbow and see if you can bring your hand and your foot to touch in the space behind you. Push your foot back into your hand and turn your chest more open to the sky as you go. Very carefully release the bind and stretch your right arm forward as you stretch your right leg back. Take a slow step back and crawl your hands around to the right, parallel your feet, and fold down for Prasarita Padottanasana. If you feel like it's a little bit too unsteady with your hands off the floor, if your head's not on the floor, you can always place a block or a blanket underneath the crown of your head for a little extra stability. When you're ready, take your hands and interlace your fingers the weird way behind your back. Heavy your pinky fingers overhead and down towards the floor. Soften your elbows and pull your heart forward, lengthening out towards a flat back. Stand up all the way. Turn your left toes forward towards the front of your yoga mat and bend through your left knee. Then as you straighten your left leg, tip your chest forward towards it, triangle pose. Pull back on your right hand with your left hand and turn your heart open. And then when you've established a pose that you could really control with your legs, open your arms out into a T, totally sideways in space. Reach your right arm forward and breathe in. Chaturanga or chin stand or handstand, any vinyasa that works for you here. Inhale and lift your right leg up and back, and exhale to step forward. Warrior two, spin your left heel down and cartwheel open again, and sit a little deeper. So you inhale, tip back and reverse your warrior. Then as you exhale, bring your right hand inside your right foot, reach your left arm up to the sky and start to take your left arm around like you're gonna do a half bind, but leave your hand behind your leg. Don't take it over into the front of your leg. Take your right fingertips and sneak them underneath your right thigh and see if you can bring your hands to touch. If no, you can always hold a strap with your left hand and find it with your right fingers and crawl your hands together. From here, try to turn your chest up and open, and then any amount you can do with no stress or strain, maybe start to straighten your right leg, a little or a lot, for a full bound triangle pose. See if you can use this restriction to turn your heart up and fly. Open your arms out into a big T shape. Reach your left arm forward and take a slow step back, downward facing dog. Inhale and lift your left leg up, and exhale to step forward. Warrior two. Sit a little deeper. As you inhale, tip back, and then as you exhale, tip forward. Extended side angle. Turn your right hand backwards and slice your arm back behind your body. Bend your elbow and leave it behind your legs so that way when you bend your left arm, you can bring your hands together behind your back somewhere. If you catch on, turn your chest open and lean back into the space behind you. Any amount that causes no stress or strain, start to flirt with the idea of straightening your left leg. Circle your arms open into a T shape. Reach your right arm forward. And take a slow step back through any vinyasa that feels good. Lift your right leg up and back, and step your foot forward between your hands. Set your left knee down to the floor and untuck your toes. Then take your right hand to the very top of your right thigh. Hook your left elbow to the outside of your right knee, and then pause. Move anything out of the way as needed with your right hand, and then hook more of your left arm to the outside of your right knee, preferably trying to get the outer shoulder to the outer knee. From here, you can stay with prayer hands or open your arms into a T and start to explore either a half or full bind, option to use a strap. Whatever variation you're taking in your arms, you may stay here or tuck your left toes and lift your left knee. You may stay there or turn your left heel down to the floor. You may stay there or start to straighten your right leg. Be very gentle with yourself. Open your arms out into a T and release your hands down to the floor. And step back to downward facing dog. Lift your left leg up and back. And step your foot through between your hands. Set your right knee down to the floor, untuck your toes, and then hook your right elbow to the outside of your left knee. Pause and make space for yourself using your left hand, and then hook as much of your right arm past your left leg as is possible today. From there, you can stay with prayer hands, or you can take your right arm under and your left arm behind, finding a half or a full bind. You can stay here or tuck your right toes and lift your right knee. Stay here or spin your right heel down. Stay here or straighten your left leg. Open your arms out into a T and release your hands down to the floor. And step back to downward facing dog. Walk your feet together and just a little forward. As you inhale, look forward between your hands, and then as you exhale, step or hop your feet right where you're looking. Lengthen as you breathe in, and fold as you breathe out. Inhale and circle your arms up for the sky, and exhale a prayer down to your heart. Shift your weight over onto your right foot, and then lift your left leg up, catching your left ankle behind you. Start to reach your right arm forward and up, and if you like, you can make a little mudra touching your forefinger and thumb together. Start to kick your left foot back and up, and tip yourself forward until you feel that your toes and your head are around the same height. Gently start to lift both your head and your toes up towards each other. Slowly make your way all the way up to stand, and release your left foot down. Stand tall. Shift your weight onto your left foot and catch your right ankle with your right hand. Lift your left arm forward and out, making that mudra if you did on the other side. Start to take your right toes back and up, and lean yourself forward until you feel your toes and your head are making around the same height. From there, lift both your toes and your head up into space. Come up all the way, reaching your arm up for the sky. And stand tall and steady. Good. As you inhale, bend your knees, sit back and reach up into chair pose. And then as you exhale, fold forward, hands down to the floor. Lean a little bit of weight into your hands, and then step to plank, jump to bent elbows, or jump back to a bent knee down dog and skip it all together. Good. Come forward all the way to plank, and then lay down all the way onto your front. Untuck your toes and interlace your fingers behind your back, or if that doesn't feel good to you, palms down on the floor next to your hips is a good alternative. Either way, lift your shoulder blades up and together and lift your hands up and back. Take your tailbone down and in and reach back towards your heels to lift your chest forward and up. Reach back through your right leg and then reach back through your left leg. Lift your chest a little higher. Lay yourself all the way down to the floor and turn your face to one side, resting your head on your hands. Either do exactly what we just did, or reach back and bend your knees, catching both ankles with both hands. Push back into your hands with your feet to lift your chest up. Reach back through your legs and lift forward through your heart. Try to tip both your toes and your head up to the sky. Release your feet and straighten your legs and your arms if you've got them. And everybody, make a pillow with your hands and turn your face the second way. Breathe a few times, wiggling your hips if it feels good. Good. Sit back onto your heels in a child's pose with your knees together or together-ish. Rest your forehead down. And if you don't have room to put your forehead down, put a block underneath your forehead so that way you can have some support. Slip your hands back by your feet. Slowly round up to sit onto your heels. And once you're seated, look down at your knees and take your knees about a fist distance apart. Take your feet apart so that way your shins look parallel to you, and then take your hands onto your hips. Push down into your shins, and without tipping your hips forward, press down into your feet and lift your hips up to come all the way up to a kneel stand, hips over knees. Once you get there, slip your thumbs closer together on the back of your pelvis. Use your thumbs to tell your seat the direction is down. Take the top of your buttocks flesh down towards the back of your knees and your tailbone down. Draw your knees energetically in. They're not going to move on the mat, but you'll feel your inner thighs kick on. Tip your pubic bone up and squeeze your elbows back. Lift your heart up for the sky. Stay here or tuck your toes and interlace your fingers behind your back. Stretch your arms back behind you. And when you let go of the clasp of your hands, try to keep your arms straight. If your fingers touch your heels, grab on, but keep lifting your hips forward and up. Option to lean your head back if it feels good. On an inhale, come up all the way to vertical. And then as you exhale, sit down onto your heels in a child's pose. Slowly round up to sit. We'll have the time for just one more camel of your choice. If you know another variation besides the one that I'm teaching, please feel free to practice it here. Take your hands onto your hips, press down through your feet, and try to use the strength of your legs to lift your hips up all the way. Keep pressing down through your shins. Take your tail down and your pubic bone gently up. Draw your knees in towards center. Lift your chest up and maybe reach your hands back. If you can touch your heels with your toes untucked, great. If you can do it with tucked toes, great. If you keep your hands on your hips, also great. Lean your head back and lift your heart open if it feels good. As you inhale, come up all the way. And then as you exhale, sit down onto your heels, sitting up this time. I just like to remind my classes that what happens when you put your hand on your heel is that your hand touches your heel. Nothing else special happens. Once you're seated on your heels, drop your hips over to the right. If you feel like you can't take your right hand off the floor without falling over on your right side, stick a little corner of the blanket underneath your outer right hip for a little extra support. Take your right arm up to the sky and try to get it pretty close to your head if possible. Crawl your left fingers as far to the left as you can go on the yoga mat, and then bend your left elbow and pull yourself down to the floor. Turn your chest a little up to the sky and a little down towards the mat. Reach your hand out on a diagonal as you circle it down and around to the own side of its knees. Sit up onto your heels and place your hands on your legs. Breathe. Drop your hips over to the left and use a blanket if you need one. Once you're supported, reach your left arm up. Crawl your right fingertips as far to the right as you can. Turn your chest up underneath your left arm and breathe this way. Start to turn your chest down towards the floor and reach, circling your hand out and down. Swing your legs around in front of you and kick your legs straight forward. If you need to sit up on something so that we could have straight legs and a long spine, please do it. If you feel like you're like this, that's when you might want to sit up on something. From here, fold forward over your straight legs, Paschimottanasana. Seated forward fold. Slowly come up to sit. And either take yourself over to a wall or near a couch or a chair. I'm going to use my yoga chair today. And place a chair near the front edge of your mat. Okay, we're going to do like a little legs up the wall variation. If you'd like to do a classical legs up the wall with your legs on the wall, please feel free. I'm going to take a folded blanket and place it on the front of my yoga chair so that way I have a little extra support for the backs of my knees because my shins are a little bit long for the height of this chair. When you're ready, you'll sit down and swing your shins up onto the chair or wall and then lay back. Once you feel supported, turn your palms up and open by your sides, or if it's more comfortable for you to interlace your fingers on your belly, feel free to do that as well. Allow yourself to rest and be supported here. Start to bring your awareness back to your natural breath. Wiggle your fingers and your toes. Bend your knees and step your feet flat onto whichever surface they're resting on. Reach your arms overhead and roll completely over onto one side. And slowly make your way all the way up to sit. Once you're seated, lengthen up through the crown of your head and place your hands anywhere that feels good. We'll seal our practice with one Thank you for practicing with me today. I hope you have a great rest of your day.